What ended up pulling stocks lower in the day? Coca-Cola played a role, one of the worst performers on Wall Street and closing near a 2-year low. Consumer staple stocks overall have been under pressure. Analysts are warning about the effects of weight loss drugs like Ozempic, causing shoppers to buy less snacks and food, perhaps. Also, the strengthening dollar potentially causing some headaches for these U.S. multinationals when they bring that profit back home. Josh, if I take a look at the sectors in the S&P 500 today on the Wi-Fi Interactive XLP, that is the consumer staples ETF, far and away the worst performer of the major averages, along with materials here, real estate and healthcare faring a little bit better here. And then if you look at the individual food stocks, here they are on the day. You've got Coke there, but Pepsi also down even more. Mondelez down 5%. As we were just talking about with Bert Flickinger, is this thesis valid that there's going to be less demand for this stuff? Questionable, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of challenge. As Bert was bringing up, access, affordability, side effects, there's a lot of challenge. I think with staples, too, today, as we were talking about, Julie, it could be, listen, it's higher rates and maybe some worries here about the consumer and the economy. ConAgra also reported and missed on sales, so not great for the staples either.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of different factors here. And maybe people liking to point the finger at the GLP-1s as the culprit, but maybe the picture's a little more complex.
Yeah, always is. BlackBerry under pressure today on news it plans an IPO for its Internet of Things division. It's the part of the business focused on adding online capabilities into appliances like cars and everyday items. So BlackBerry, Julia, of course, used to be a cell phone giant, now a security software provider. Spinning off this IoT business, Internet of Things, analysts value that IoT segment at $1.7 billion. And some analysts did like the news, but investors not so much.
Man, this is the season of spin-offs, is it not? We have had so many splits and spin-offs happening over the past week or so. So this is just the latest. BlackBerry actually began this review back in May. Its review of this business. It's only about a, $2.5 billion company total at this point. Yep. So interesting that it is doing this spin-off. Initially, when it announced this after the close yesterday, or maybe before the open today, the stock initially went up before the regular session and then ended up going down. And in fact, just anecdotally, these spin-offs that we've been watching in the last week or so have been punished when they are enacting the spin-off, or in some cases when they're announcing the spin-off. So it seems like, it's unclear if it's just a general risk aversion or if it's specific to this decision that BlackBerry has made.
Tough day for BlackBerry and tough year, too, for those investors.
Yeah, and then there's one more automaker that we are watching today. That is Lucid, in addition to GM, which we talked about earlier. Lucid announcing that it's going to offer a new, cheaper version of its luxury Air sedan. Investors don't seem pleased with that. The EV startup's new version has rear-wheel drive, starting price of $77,000, about $5,000 less than the current low-cost option. You can see the shares are down about 7%. It's a luxury vehicle, and you're not even getting the all-wheel drive. It's unclear to me if this is exactly why the stock is down so much. Yeah. Like Rivian, this is one of those where there are just a lot of questions about the profitability.
Well, you mentioned Rivian, which is a good point, because I wonder Rivian getting knocked around. I wonder if that's a domino kind of a ripple effect, maybe pulling Lucid. And also, listen, when you bring out a relatively cheaper product, some investors might get nervous about what does that say about demand potentially. So maybe that's weighing as well.
Yeah, it
rough session, down 7%.
Yeah.